anyways, I'm a huge Taco Bell fan. For those of you who are new and don't know too much about me, I love me some Taco Bell. And yeah, so I saw this video, got sent to me by a mod, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna watch it live because I'm passionate. Very passionate.
This is how I threw a funeral for a Taco Bell that closed down near me, and then invited a bunch of people from my city to come mourn the loss of this great establishment. And then got on a plane and flew to China to live at a factory for a couple weeks while I made bronze Mountain Dew Baja Blast sculptures and bronze.
Look at this. Where can I get one of these? Where can I get one of these? This is amazing. Welcome to Queso's World with the Steakhouse Burrito. Thank you for the bits. It's a sad day. Look, I need this. I need this. I need one in like gold. Maybe not gold. That sounds expensive. See, modern art cannot compare. I feel, okay, you know what? Look, if we're going to think about this from like an art perspective, I'm an art connoisseur, modern art connoisseur, obviously. This depicts Taco Bell in a very profound way. Because you see, the Taco Bell is eternal, cast in metal. It will not wither away like it does in bag form. But here, it speaks to its eternal nature. How was that? Did we like that? Was that good?
Taco Bell bags to commemorate this Taco Bell funeral. So
Beautiful.
Step one was to buy a $1,400 Taco Bell themed gravestone.
Wow.
And
was that with like...
once that was done...
I want to know if 1,400 with all of the words on it. That's expensive. Gravestones are expensive.
I cut off these pieces of metal and put them into these holes with this epoxy. Okay,
epoxy? Is that good enough?
And once that was done, I needed to figure out, okay, where am I actually going to have this Taco Bell funeral?
Okay.
So I needed to find a Taco Bell that had closed down recently. So I went on my local city's subreddit and asked people, and 16,000 people saw it, and 29 people commented. And of those 29, one person said
5258 California Southwest.
And so I went and scouted the location, and there was two big issues. One was it was behind a fence, and it had been abandoned, and there was no access to the property. And the second one, which is bigger, was after I did some online snooping, I found out that it wasn't actually a Taco Bell. It was a Thai place called the Thai Tan.
Oh, I almost thought it was going to be the Tahitian, which doesn't make sense.
But then I was looking at the building more, and I just
pun.
sort of saw a couple distinct architectural features. One being this archway, and the second being these terracotta tiles.
Oh yeah,
and
that is very distinct Taco Bell.
After doing some research on other Taco Bell locations, I found that both of those features were pretty common. And so we went on Discord and found this woman who was a Taco Bell historian. And
a Taco Bell historian? Give me her details. I must meet her.
And so we went on Discord.
All right. Time for me to friend this woman. That's crazy. I would imagine you're just really into Taco Bell and you've done a lot of research. Okay, you guys want to know something funny? So at one point, I worked for like a food place. That's pretty, Emma's pretty generic. So the said food place has like merch, and I always thought it was odd. I was like, man, I don't understand the people that like get merch from like their like food places. And then I realized like my hypocrisy, because I wear Mountain Dew shirts. I have a couple, and on top of that, I have a couple Taco Bell shirts. I'm a bit of a hypocrite. I just thought it was weird. I'm like, why would you get like a wallet or whatever that has like your favorite like fast food place on it? That's weird. And then Taco Bell entered my life, and I understand now.
And found this woman who was a Taco Bell historian, and she was able to blow the case wide open. She was able to go into the archives of the city through the public library and find the actual architectural drawings for that specific location. And yes, she was able to confirm that it was Taco Bell, which is good.
That's cool.
And it was started in the 1970s when burritos were only 19 cents.
My heart. A 19-cent burrito?
And it was in business for about 20 years until the 1990s, where a hepatitis outbreak happened and it closed shortly afterwards.
Whoa.
And after that, it just sort of faded into oblivion and people forgot about it.
Hello, what can I get for you today?
Hi, could I get a... Then I went back to my art studio and took a bunch of photos of this bag and Baja Blast Cup and then made a digital model of it.
That's
and
cool.
Then once I 3D scanned it, I was able to send it to a professional 3D modeler named Rajdip, who was able to make a final 3D version that had the logo on and everything. And then myself and Natty, my studio assistant, flew from the US to China. And we went to a rural part of China that specializes in bronze foundry sculptures.
But that's cool,
and we met the foundry owner named Mr. Lee and Echo, who was the salesperson, and she was the only person that sort of vaguely spoke English. So we did a lot of Google Translate on our phones. Wait, say that. So people think. Say that again.
People think that Mao Zedong will protect them in the heaven.
Oh, so Mao Zedong is God.
Yes, Mao Zedong is God.
So it was at this point.
Not what I was expecting to hear in my wholesome Taco Bell video.
Walking around the factory, and there was just like a ton of Mao paraphernalia everywhere, and no one spoke English. And I was just starting to feel a bit out of place, I guess. And I think the Chinese factory workers felt the same way.
What are you doing here?
But this man here named D, he showed me the first step into making these bronze sculptures. And he didn't speak any English, and I didn't speak any Chinese. So he just sort of gestured with his hands. And the first step was to make this 2-part silicone mold.
Okay.
And he sprayed some mold release agent on it, and I scooped out some silicone.
Yeah, this reminds me of my dice making stuff.
Poured it over the top of this 3D printed Taco Bell bag. Then we reinforced it and then flipped it over and did the same thing to the other side. And once that was done, I went over and mixed up a bunch of clay
that's
to
complicated.
reinforce the silicone mold. Hey, I'm recording audio. Could I call you back?
Send that video, baby.
Okay, yeah. And after I put all the clay on, I smoothed it out. Explanation break. Explanation. To make this out of bronze, first you need to make it out of wax, and you can't just fill it up with bronze and have it be solid, because when the metal cools and contracts, it'll crack, and also it'd be extremely heavy and super expensive. And so to fix all these problems, you have to make a wax mold that's hollow. And to do this, we went to the wax room.
We're learning a lot today, guys.
This is Lee. She's sort of the LeBron James of this specific process, working with this wax. And of anyone in the whole factory, the women in the wax room thought it was the funniest that I came to China for several weeks to do what is essentially a blue-collar job. And I think they sort of looked at me like the pickup basketball player at the YMCA. But damn it. Let me call you back, Reed. And so after we separated the two parts of the mold, inside was a perfect replica of the 3D printed bag, and it was made out of wax. And Dee here, she showed me how to clean up the outside of the mold. So we spent several days just doing this wax process. One thing that was sort of interesting about our trip to China that I sort of learned as I was there was there's really specialized manufacturing. So one city would make lights, and one city in China would make shoes, and the area we were in was focused almost exclusively on sculptures. That 15-second animation took me 6 hours and 34 minutes to do. About halfway through our stay there, Echo and Mr. Lee brought us out to lunch, and Mr. Lee insisted that I try this thing called spicy liquid, which I can only describe as...
I can never escape.
It's like if sriracha and gasoline had a child, and then that kid was raised by some sort of industrial solvent. But I didn't want to be rude, so I had a bunch, and then later I found out it translated to knock down a donkey. And then when we got back to the factory, I realized I was completely torpedoed, and tried my best to keep a straight face and act normal, but I was lighting things on fire by accident. It was a complete mess. And then halfway through, I thought, maybe they didn't realize, but they definitely did realize. But everyone there, after working there for about a week, people sort of got used to us. And you may be wondering why or how wax turns into bronze.
This is so cool, because he could have just probably had someone just make this for him. But the fact that he came here and did that, I find that really admirable. That's really cool.
And so what we did is we dipped it in this slurry, and then we covered it in sand and dipped it in slurry and covered it in sand, and kept doing that over and over and building up a thicker and thicker layer. And because sand has a higher melting point than bronze, you can pour the bronze into the cast and it won't just melt right through. And so we did that with the bags, also with the cups, and then at the end, this is what we were left with.
This is so cool. I would want to do this.
And then we loaded it up into this big crane and lifted it into this industrial oven. And it was at this point that I realized when it comes to sort of industrial safety in China, there basically is no worker safety. There's like in the US, I'm used to OSHA, but like halfway through, you could see this guy almost getting crushed to death by this 1,000-pound oven lid. And the boss came over and yelled at him for about 5 minutes and then left, and it just like didn't seem like a really big deal. And eventually we were able to get all the wax out of the molds and take them out. And then it was on to the actual pouring of the bronze. And this is where it started getting particularly sketchy. The furnace you turn on and it sounded like a dental drill. And even to turn on the furnace, you had to walk over these like planks of wood between two molten vats of lava, essentially. And it was like 350 amps running through this furnace, which is like 700 times the amount of electricity that could kill you. And I look over the electrical panel on to our right, and the entire thing is...
No, I saw it earlier. It damaged equipment. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm nervous. This makes me anxious.
At some point had lit on fire and it was like half melted, and they were just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
And, but
you can see. Look, it's all charred.
Who was I to question it? I'd never done this before, and no one in the US would let me, pour the bronze. So I was like, all right, we're here. So we started loading up the bronze into the crucible, and after about an hour, it melted down completely. And we took a ladle and scooped out a little bit and poured it onto the ground, and then let it cool.
To check to see if it was ready?
And sort of looked at it and ground it down to make sure that it was ready to be poured. And
that's pretty
then
cool.
All the molds came out of this big oven, and this is when things started really becoming pretty hectic. We had to move really fast because the metal cooled really fast and the molds cooled really fast, and so it just started getting incredibly hectic really quickly. And then as soon as we started pouring, also all the molds started cracking open and exploding, and then Mrs. Lee, who was the factory owner's wife, would come in and try to patch all these holes with like a frosting pipette filled with clay, essentially.
What?
And when that didn't work, she would just scoop some clay on her hand and use her hands to plug these holes. And she was wearing gardening gloves. And these molds were red hot, and there was bronze falling everywhere. And the ladles that we used to pick up the molten bronze, half of them had holes in them and were leaking out the bottom. And so you'd be trying to pour, and then be molten bronze falling right next to your feet. And no one's wearing any sort of protective shoes either. It's just all sneakers. And 10 minutes of incredible sort of organized chaos. And then just as fast as it started, it was over, and everyone went back to work like it was no big deal.
Dude, that's crazy.
After a couple weeks of working at the factory, I started getting my feet under me slightly more, and there was still some stuff as a foreigner that was difficult to comprehend. Like, intellectual property is very loose there, and so there'd be massive copies of the Wall Street Bull statues on the side of the road, or famous artwork would be in the hotel lobby. But slowly, as I spent more time around these people, I started, they were all just incredible craftsmen. And I think for someone who makes stuff for a living, I just couldn't help but be impressed with all these people. And there were some really good parts of China, and there were some really bad parts, and they sort of lived together in a weird way.
Like with every country.
It felt sort of similar to the US in that way. There's some really good parts and there's some really bad parts.
Every country's like that.
It just felt very different. And one of the most different parts was they boil their orange juice. And yeah, so that was different.
Ew.
But the longer I spent there, the more I enjoyed it. And we started unmolding all the castings, and then used an incredibly powerful pressure washer to get all the sand off of it. Then we went over and cut off all these extra bits called sprues that help us pour the bronze in.
I know things,
and
chat.
The statues were hollow at this point, and so we needed to close them up. And so we brought them over to the welding station, and I hit them with a big flame to get all the moisture off. And then this master welder named Lee, he showed me how to TIG weld all the bottoms onto the statues. And
welding is cool.
We spent a long time closing them up and making them into a solid form. And I'm not a great TIG welder, but with Lee's guidance, we were able to get through a bunch, and we welded on the straw as well. And Lee was a real pro, as is everyone here. They were all, incredibly great craftsmen. And we then moved on to polishing, and this was the process that took the longest.
Can I buy one of these?
240 to make, and it just...
Can I buy one of these? I think this video was made like 2 months ago. They're probably unavailable.
It took a very, very long time to polish all these. And this is what it looked like before and afterwards. And how much did the whole project cost? It was 95 grand, Taco Bell didn't sponsor it or anything. It was just, I take money from past art projects and then funnel it into the next one. Just for those that are curious, it was $600,000 to do it in the U.S., which is kind of interesting. But after we had finished, we flew from China back to the U.S. And the first thing we did was put up these posters around the city to say, hey, there's a Taco Bell funeral. This is the date. You have to wear funeral attire and you should bring some sort of offering.
That's funny. Me too.
What if no one comes? What if too many people come? How are we gonna get through that fence? What if one of those street preachers comes and starts yelling at a microphone? Jesus, who rose again the third day. It was at this point in the process where I started completely spinning out. I had found out halfway through that someone else, 2 people, had done Taco Bell vigils, which is basically a Taco Bell funeral, and I just got sad. I felt uncreative.
No!
But then...
think about it. Only 2 people in the entire world came up with the Taco Bell funeral. Come on, that is unique.
I sort of pulled myself out of the funk and thought about what actually helped me was thinking about my favorite artwork, which is Reddit's r/place, which is every Reddit user gets to change 1 pixel. And it's sort of this, you build things on top of one another and you're sort of battling. And on my page, I say I'm a meme artist, and I feel like memes are just, taking something and then adding your own spin to it. So as long as you're adding something new or exciting or different to some sort of existing piece of media, then I think I'm okay with that. So
I like this.
I wanted to make one of those carrying things that everyone could carry the tombstone. And so I started welding up this frame on the welding table, then went over to the mill and drilled a bunch of holes in it.
He's got lots of stuff.
So that we could attach it to the outside of these big 2x6s, and then welded on the frame, and then painted the whole thing white. And once that was done, I wanted to hire doves to be released, but the place that we contacted, they were like, hey, our doves aren't trained well enough, and they just flew away. So we found another dove person, and we were able to hire them. Then the day of the event arrived finally, and Natty and I loaded up the tombstone holder, and we also loaded up the tombstone to the back of Natty's K-Truck.
Perfect.
And it completely overloaded the weight capacity, but we were able to make it. We also loaded up a bunch of sculptures to give away as well. And when we arrived, I put on a yellow vest.
If only I had been there. Dude, he's fully admitting to trespassing.
We also loaded up a bunch of sculptures to give away as well. And when we arrived, I put on a yellow vest and started getting access to the space that we needed. And I put on a yellow vest just to seem slightly more official. Then a bunch of volunteers came, and we were all dressed up in funeral attire, and we unloaded the tombstone. The tombstone weighed somewhere between 400 and 700 pounds, so it was super heavy. So we got the tombstone holder, and we tried lifting it with 6 people.
I love the dedication to the bit.
But we were unable to.
1 to 10, how heavy? 4 people? I'm pretty sure.
So we ended up getting, I think, 12 people just to practice, but we had to stop our practice quickly because the people started arriving, and this guy was the first to arrive. He was playing slow jams and had a Taco Bell bag on his head as a hat. And then slowly more and more people started arriving, including the woman with the dove. And we gave out candles to people, and a lot of people dressed up in Taco Bell attire, and other people just dressed up in funeral mourning attire as well. And then it's time to start the event. How do we look? Somber enough?
Good somber, yeah.
This is so dumb. I love it.
Hello. Thank you all for coming to this most somber of days. We are here to commemorate this building, which was once a Taco Bell, but is no longer. I would like to begin with a moment of silence. Thank you. This is serious. Bagpiper, you may begin.
They got someone to play the bagpipes. Not that one lady just wailing in the background. That one lady, she knows what her job is, and it is to wail.
Now we will be doing a 21 bell salute. Please come forward with the bells. 1, 2,
21 bells. Forgive me, I thought the 21, I mean, this is bells, but the regular 21 gun salute is, there's the 7 guns and it's only 3 shots. Is that correct? I know, I'm being very picky about a meme funeral. I'm just curious, because that's what I thought it was, because I've been to Arlington National Cemetery, and by the way, incredibly, there is an air about that place. It feels sacred. It is so somber. And I remember I was walking around because I was visiting, because they had funerals going on. You could hear the 21 gun salutes, and like it made my heart sink. Highly recommend you go. Sorry for being nitpicky about the bells for this meme funeral.
If you brought an offering to lay at the feet of this gravestone, please make a line over here. The winner.
Based parents that brought their kids.
Offering competition will receive a bronze Taco Bell bag to commemorate this event. A bronze Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Please come forward. Fake flowers with sauce in them. A small porcelain toilet. A ceramic handmade Crunchwrap Supreme. A doll of himself he won from a Taco Bell competition in 2014.
Okay. Let me think, what would I have brought? It's a good idea. Oh yeah! Yeah, Baja Blast dice. You're right, I would have brought those, 100%. You're right.
There were 50 tacos, some people ate them, so maybe there's around 40 now. 38, 37, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, any more? You got the idea, they're all gone now. I will now decide the top 3, and we will decide the winner via cheering. The mannequin of himself he won from Taco Bell.
Okay, that's good.
The handmade ceramic crunch wrap.
That one, yes. That one's a good one. That should win.
50 tacos that were eaten.
Oh.
First place goes to ceramic crunch wrap.
That one, yes.
Second place, totally normal mannequin.
Yeah.
Third place, 50 or whatever is left tacos.
That was smart. You get people to vote for you.
We will now be doing a crying competition. First, to shed a tear. Self-harm is not allowed. If you would like to participate, please come forward to win a
I'm
sculpture.
crying.
On your mark, get set, cry.
This is so stupid, I love it.
We have a winner! We will now...
She's been broken up with, I'm sure. This is... Oh my gosh.
With that, the event was done, but people stuck around afterwards and hung out and just chatted.
Are they
and
releasing
took
the
photos
dove?
with the tombstone. And beforehand, I was super nervous. I didn't know if anyone would even show up to this thing, but people really committed to the bit, and I'm just so grateful for everyone who showed up. So thank you.
I will keep this forever.
Oh my god. Dude, this is like heavy. Oh my god. Is it like metal? Wow.
And if you want a sculpture, I'm selling them on my website, sunnynobody.com.
Guys, guess how much? $640 US. Add it to your throne? No way. Oh, here we are. Okay. Bag dimensions is 8 by 6 by 10 inches, 4 by 4 by 11. See, I don't know if I could tax write off this. Show it on stream once, and you get the tax write. It's tempting, to say the least.
They're only going to be available for 2 weeks. Yeah, if you want one, go grab them.
3, 2, 1.
Dang, this was like fortuitous that I saw this video and that I'm watching it now. crowdfund it. You see, I feel like I have like a moral responsibility to like not do that. Hey, chatters. I would like you guys to fund for me to have a Taco Bell bronze statue. Brother, what the heck? Dude, this mad lad donated $300. Thank you so much, Katrina. I appreciate it. That is insane. Incredibly generous of you. Half a forged Taco Bell bag. Dude, thank you so much. What the heck? Okay, we're halfway there. Okay, chat. I see. I guess we're doing this now. Wow.